morning, everybody. It's Art with A-Bird Freedom Support here in lovely Lake Havasu City, Arizona. And this morning, I want to just put a little bit of help out there for either a potential first-time firearm buyer or maybe somebody who during COVID or recent events have decided that they want to own a firearm, whether it be for protection or otherwise. Anyhow, I'm going to go over a few things that I did some research, as well as I've written down some these are a couple of these questions actually come from interacting with a lot of customers that come in and out of my shop. So the question I pondered to you is so you've bought your first pistol, let's say, for example, and now you don't know where to go, and everybody is throwing advice at you. So let's just back it up for just a minute, and let's go to maybe you're a prospective firearm purchaser. You've never purchased before, and now you have the inkling to do so. I am also here to help you with that as well. So, without any other ado, I'm going to cover 4 questions. Stay tuned to the end. No, it's not a promise of riches or fortune or fame. I do have something in the works to help first-time gun owners. I'll share that with you at the end. Anyhow, moving on. So, what is the best pistol, rifle, or shotgun? Okay, now this is one of those questions that always leads to other questions. It leads to other questions that will leave a lot of people confused, especially if they are not familiar with the firearms industry or firearms ownership. More importantly, responsible firearm ownership. Your first decision depends entirely on your primary goal. Home defense, handguns for maneuverability, or shotguns for close range. If you're going to be hunting, sport shooting, rifles, or dedicated shotguns. If you're buying strictly for home defense, a reliable 9mm pistol or a 12-gauge shotgun are often the best starting points. But, this is very important, you must handle and determine what best fits your stature and what you are actually going to partake in training, and I'm not going to say practice, training. Okay. Now, one of the big questions, not only in my shop, but also I did an internet scour looking for most asked new gun owner questions. What is the single most important thing right after your purchase? Okay, the answer is simple: training. Now, I do agree there is no amount of YouTube videos, there is no amount of your neighbor, your sisters, uncles, boyfriends, cousins, dog, explaining to you how to be a responsible gun owner. That's something that you first must intellectually and morally decide what is a responsible firearm owner. And I'm going to help with that. Like I said, stay tuned. Go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe if you just bought a firearm and you're looking for direction, or if you're considering buying a firearm. Don't be afraid. Go ahead and put it in the comments what you're considering, what you're thinking about. And if you're close to Lake Havasu City, Arizona, go ahead and stop on by A-Bird Freedom Support. I'll be more than happy to sit down right at this marble table, and I'm going to try to help you. Okay. What are legal requirements? Now, the legal requirements is one that gets a little bit tricky because every state will have different nuances. You're going to have your federal law, and that's going to be one thing up here, and then your state law, and then even some local city ordinances and county statutes. So federal law sets the floor, age, background check, but state and local laws can change everything, like I just said. In Arizona, for example, constitutional carry, no permit needed for concealed carry. If you're 21 years of age and over and legally able to own a firearm. But still, you have to go through the NICS check. You still have to do a 4473. I did a quick little video on that. I do have a lot of new gun owners that ask a lot of questions about that. And even first and second time buyers, I'll probably rehash that one. Go ahead and put it in the comments if you want a step-by-step, dumbed down kind of tutorial on the 4473 and your interaction with your local gun shop. Okay. Now, another big question that comes up for a lot of people, security. Security is a responsibility. Remember, we're talking about being a responsible firearms owner. It's not a one and done. Your gun must be inaccessible to unauthorized persons, especially children or anyone in crisis. Now that means particularly, let's say you own a firearm and now you have your sister gets divorced and she's just mentally a mess and now she's staying at your house. It would be a good idea to possibly have that firearm secured. And of course, you wouldn't want it getting in the hands of children. When we do the 4473 video, if there's enough support for it in the comments where people want that, I'll also go over some other things that happen at your local gun shop. I will ask a question of everybody that purchases a firearm. Do you have minors in the home, or do you have children that come visit you for extended periods of time? Okay. Quick biometric access safes are a good idea, as well as a regular floor safe. Every pistol will come with a trigger lock or a cable lock or some type of securement device. So hopefully this just puts a little bit more at ease. I realize there's a lot of information out there and it's really easy to ask the wrong person the right question and get a wrong answer. I'm putting this out there very generalized just to kind of help sort through some of it. Of course, feel free to reach out to me, abirdfreedomsupport.com. Scroll down, hit the contact section on the website. Go ahead and email me your questions, and I will be more than happy to try to help you, because unfortunately, there's not enough information for the new gun owners in some areas. This is why I'm trying to kind of take you by the hand, which is sometimes the best way, give a little mentorship. All right. With all that being said, hopefully, if nothing else, I might have answered one or two questions for some people. By the way, for your state laws, go ahead and Google your local state government. If you're in California, www.ca.gov.com, I think it is. I'm sure you can Google, let's say you're in Arkansas state gun laws. Be careful with this. Make sure you actually go to a legitimate www.arkansas.gov.com. Make sure that it's actually your state's website and not something else. As always, there's people out there, the NRA, your local instructors, and your local instructors. Now that brings me to another piece. So, with an influx of first-time pistol owners in particular, we're going to focus on pistol owners for this. I am going to host a 1-hour pistol zero level. When I say a pistol zero level workshop, I'm going to bring in one of the local firearms instructors. And for 1 hour, we're going to work with those new gun owners, learning things like removing the source of feed, locking the slide to the rear, physically inspecting the firearm to ensure that it's clear. So obviously we're going to talk a lot about safety, but we're also going to get familiar with the firearm that you own and assist you to get familiar with it, as well as go over some options for securement, and then also some basic training. I don't want to say doctrine, but some habits that you can develop and you can start to train, as well as a quick introduction to what happens at a live fire range, just to help out those people that maybe you purchased that firearm and you're not quite sure about going to the range yet. You're still a little apprehensive. Don't worry. My shop and one of my local firearms instructors, we're going to help you to better understand your first trip to the range, as well as provide guidance and answer any questions that you can bring up that we have answers for. With all that being said, for all the new gun owners that have joined the 2A community responsibly and are looking to be responsible firearms owners throughout their future, I applaud you and I welcome you to the club, basically. Most of your local gun shops, like myself, we're all here and available to help you. All you have to do is come in and ask. Or if you're not comfortable with asking your questions in person, like I said, abirdfreedomsupport.com, that's my shop's website. Scroll to the bottom, hit that contact email, send me an email, give me a day or two to respond back to you, and I will try to assist you. Or right now, you can go down in the comments and put your questions. Maybe your questions are the same as other people's. This, ladies and gentlemen, is how we change the image of firearms ownership, is through responsible ownership and responsible mentorship. With that, I bid everybody adieu. Stay safe. Ask those questions. Get that training. When in doubt, ask. Until next time, go ahead and post your questions and we'll get them answered. And we'll go over that 4473 and more. Thank you for watching.